John, Airbnb shares, they're also up today about 3%. Its latest results providing more evidence that its model and brand is recovering much faster than the rest of the travel industry. Average daily rates rose more than 30% in the first quarter compared to double-digit declines from the hotels and just 8% growth from Expedia. Revenue also growing again, while the OTAs are still far below pre-COVID levels. Supply or listings, though, remains a key question as demand is expected to surge back. And that's where he started with CEO Brian Chesky. Are they ready for a major summer rebound?
Yes, we absolutely do. The key is we have 4 million hosts, 5.6 million listings. And, our hosts, we've been working to get them ready. But one of the other things we've done is we've launched a feature called flexible dates. What this allows us to do is to point demand to where we have available supply. So we will have, I think, more than enough listing hosts for the coming travel rebound in the coming months.
Now, if travel comes back to cities, is there a risk of glut in non-urban areas? I noticed in your report that you have expanded the supply outside of cities, but net it stayed consistent.
Yeah, I think a couple trends are going to be very positive for us. As restrictions lift, more people are going to cross the border and more people are going to go to cities. But I don't think that's going to be a pure replacement for all the people traveling to vacation destinations, small towns, rural communities. I think it's going to be additive because what we're seeing is huge spikes in searches and demand on Airbnb. And so we think this is going to be a travel rebound unlike anything we've ever seen before. I don't think we've ever in our lifetime we've never seen travel being taken away from the majority of people for a whole year. And a lot of people have a large amount of discretionary money. In a lot of surveys that I've read, including ones we've commissioned, you ask, what's the out-of-home activity you miss the most? Most people say travel. You will see more urban travel, but I don't think it's going to be business travel. I think it's going to be more leisure travel, and I think we're really, really strong in that area.
I wonder what makes you so confident. I know you have good visibility, but what if demand exceeds your expectations? What if you see more urban bookings versus rural? What makes you so confident, especially when your competitors are working very, very hard to build up their supply?
Well, again, if we see a huge spike in urban demand, that would be great for our hosts in cities. They've been hurting over the last year, but we are still seeing more and more demand coming to the urban area, especially for longer term stays.
Right now, you sound extremely positive on your outlook for the summer and the first half of this year, but you were somewhat conservative on your guidance for the back half of the year, pointing to limited visibility. Why is that the case? What makes you think that the rebound could stall or gives you hesitation when it comes to predicting the second half of the year?
Well, I'm very confident about the second half of the year. And I, again, think this will be a travel rebound unlike anything we've seen before. Certainly, I've been doing this for 13 years in Airbnb, and never have we seen anything quite like this. The amount of people that are interested in traveling. And of course, all this was before a few hours ago when the head of CDC said that now if you're vaccinated, you can resume activities that you were doing before the pandemic. And I think one of those activities that I'm sure people come to mind right before Memorial Day is travel. So we are very confident and we're going to be prepared for whatever the demand is.
You guys broke out longer term stays this quarter, those over 28 days, and they now make up a quarter of all nights booked in Q1. Does that trend continue as economies reopen?
It probably does. I mean, it probably will happen is there might be some rebalancing as cross-border increases, as urban increases, and more people travel. That could rebalance it a little bit because you're going to see a lot more growth in short term. But over the long run, over the course of a number of years, I think the trend to increasingly people staying Airbnb for long-term stays, as defined by 28 days or longer, it increases. And the reason it increases is because increasingly fewer and fewer people are being tethered to one city to live and work. And so as people become more flexible, more and more people decide that staying in Airbnb is actually a great option for a week at a time, a month at a time, or a few months at a time.
If long-term continues and it goes up, what kind of opportunity does that open up for Airbnb in terms of your addressable market and ways to monetize the platform?
Well, I mean, the market for living is much larger than the market for traveling. There's no question. Most of us, travel for a portion of the year and we're living the rest of the year. So I think, number one, most of our market size that we described to investors, especially in our S1, was primarily focused on travel, which is already one of the biggest industries in the world. It is by some measures between 5% of global GDP or even larger. It really depends on how you size it. If you add another category of living, and if traveling and living start to blur, I think Airbnb is absolutely a beneficiary.
Now, have you seen the same kind of recovery in experiences that you have seen in home bookings? What are you looking to as an indication that this business is working or isn't?
It's absolutely working. And one of the things I'll point out on experiences is statistically, guests are more satisfied with experience on Airbnb even than homes. The percent of people leave a 5-star review for experiences is higher than homes. Now, this product has been somewhat on hold. Last year, we paused the entire experiences product because obviously during a pandemic, it's really hard to gather, let alone with other strangers. I remain very bullish over the long term.